Alright, the Kindle, yeah. Here it is. Ta-da! It's like a little iPad, but you can't watch anime boobas in it. You can only read them. Very important. Yes, and I, as a connoisseur of anime boobas, do read a lot of anime boobas. My favorite one happens to be Wort, Volume 2. Very good. Anyways, now that you know that there's anime boobas in the Kindle, let me tell you, you're probably wondering, how the fuck do I get one? I want to read some anime boobas. It's pretty simple to get one, but it can get quite expensive. So, if you happen to be a loyal customer of Amazon, it can get quite expensive, but it's quite easy to get one. It's in the main page. But if you don't want to pay that much, there's a couple tips I'm going to give you. There's two types of people I would recommend the Kindle to. The person who doesn't read but wants to get into reading, and the person who reads way too fucking much and pays too much money for paperbacks. If you don't read that much, it's probably because you haven't found the right book for you. Now, you've probably heard this a million times and whatever, but let me tell you something. Getting a Kindle has really helped getting the special book, or the book that you want to read, because books are much cheaper on the Kindle. Now, you do pay a premium upfront for the device, but after that it's very good, and you actually end up paying very little for the amount of content that you can get. So if you don't read that much and you want to get into reading, I would recommend getting into eBay and looking up Kindle. Look up for the previous versions, the previous generations, like the 4th, 5th, 6th. Just look around that range and find a Kindle that's worth around 20 to 40 bucks. They're all made out of plastic, so don't expect anything too good. And it's 20 bucks, so you're not gonna go broke from it, and it can end up making you smarter at the end of the day. So you might just spend 20 bucks on it, and eventually you might get into reading and you really like it, and those 20 bucks were worth probably even more than 20 bucks because of the ROI that you got from it. But if you didn't like it at all and you kind of fucking hated it and you're not going to use it again, then it was only 20 bucks. It's probably less than your fucking OnlyFans account, so
boom, roasted.
Bro, it's not that much. If you're one of those people that like to read a lot and you have a bunch of fucking books in your house, get one fucking Kindle, dude. It's 100% worth the hype. And the speculation, or not speculation, it's just everyone says it's a good device to own, and it really is a good device to own. Not only do you get cheaper books, you actually get to read a lot more because it's a lot more convenient, and you don't have to carry a whole fucking book around to read wherever you want. And the cool part about the Kindle is that it doesn't have any distractions like your phone, because there's really nothing special about the Kindle. If anything, it's kind of like a downgrade of an iPad or a phone. Your phone can read, you can download the Kindle app, your computer can do it as well, your iPad can do it as well. However, your phone can also go into fucking YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, all these fucking applications that get you hooked and you don't actually end up reading anything. This, although it can go into YouTube, it's pretty fucking bad, and I wouldn't recommend it because it's not designed to do that. The Kindle is really only meant to be for you to read. That's the whole fucking point of the thing. Now, let me tell you about money. The ROI on these things is amazing, dude. You can end up paying anywhere from 20 bucks to 260 bucks to get one of these. One way or another, you're gonna get that money back. Either it's gonna take you 2 days, or it can take you a month or 2 years to get that money back, but you will get the money back. The ROI on these things is incredible. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you something.
Paperbacks aren't expensive, but if you want to read a lot, 10 books can cost you 100 bucks. Which, look, if you happen to read super fast, you're gonna fucking get rid of those 10 books like this fast. So 100 bucks can end up fucking piling up, and 10 books might turn into 20 books, and 20 books end up costing 200 bucks. And depending on the type of book that you want, they can cost anywhere from 10 bucks to 25 bucks or even more, 30 bucks or some shit. Ebooks happen to cost way less. They can end up costing anywhere from $1 to $5. It's really the amount of money you have to pay is very fucking low. 10 books, instead of costing you 100 bucks, end up costing you anywhere from $1 to $10 fucking dollars. So it's really not that big a deal, and you end up making you end up saving a lot of money. Now, books that are more non-fiction, so self-help books or like biographies and more, books that aren't fiction, they end up costing a lot more. So if you want to read a lot of books about self-help, finance books, educational books, they can cost $30 if you get them on hardcover or paperback. Here they can cost $6. So if you buy fucking 5 books that are non-fiction, they can cost $20. So that would end up costing you $100. But in here you could end up paying $20. So you end up saving quite a lot of money. So now that you know how much money you can save and the ROI that you can get from this, let me tell you about my review and what I think of it. First and foremost, let me tell you which Kindle I got. I got the Kindle Oasis. It's the premium version of the Kindle. It costs me 260 euros to get the fully decked out version where I have 32 gigabytes and it's the most decked out version. It has an aluminum backplate. I don't know, it's just made out of aluminum. It's more premium than the other ones. The other ones were made out of plastic. Now, relax. I know $260 to just read is quite expensive, and it's honestly, some people might think it's not worth it, but I found it to be worth it because I do read a lot. I happen to own a lot of books and I want to read more. So I thought it was just a fucking good investment because I'm not going to have this for 1 year. I'm going to have this for like a decade or even more. So those $260, they were pretty well spent in my opinion. So now that I quickly mentioned the physical aspects, let me tell you a little bit more in depth about the physical aspects. So it's made out of aluminum, it's a more premium one, whatever. It also has these 2 buttons.
And then you have 9 orgasms.
Yeah, cool buttons. And it has this turn on button, it's just whatever. And here you charge it. I thought mine was fucked up because the cable doesn't really go all the way in. You kind of have to push it in, so I don't know. If you get one and you also have the same problem, you kind of have to push it in. And it feels like you're going to break it or you're going to damage it. I think you're not. I'm not really sure. I didn't really give a fuck about the specs, like, oh, it's this type of screen or it has this much RAM. Like, it doesn't really fucking matter. You're going to read from it. It's not a big deal. You shouldn't really give a fuck about it. It's just get the one that you think you're going to read the most from and you're going to, like, enjoy the most. And it doesn't fucking matter if it has, like, too much RAM or too little. It doesn't fucking matter, dude.
It doesn't matter how you feel!
Not gonna lie, you do end up reading quite a lot more when you're at night. So it helps a lot to, the screen is really good because it doesn't fucking blind you while you're reading. It's actually pretty easy on the eyes. It's not as hard as your phone where it hurts after using it for like 2 hours. It's actually pretty nice on the eyes. So don't worry too much about your eye health. Now let me tell you something that really fucked me up, man. Look, the screen is never off. Like, this is the off version of the screen. Your phone, look, right now, I'm reading from the script. That's the screen on, now that's off. It's black, right? It's fucking black. This motherfucker has these cool pictures. You can either set it up so you have cool pictures like these, which is a standard version, or you can have the cover of your book that you're currently reading. You can either have that or the cool pictures. It really fucked me up because it looks like you're always running it and it's always on, but it's actually off right now. And I thought that at night it would kind of like turn black. I don't know. It never turns black. Like, this is the way it is every single fucking day. If you don't use it for 20 hours, it's like this all the fucking time. You turn the lights off and look, right now you can clearly see it, but if I were to turn the lights off, you don't fucking see anything. It honestly kind of fucked me up. I was like, no way. At certain points in the night, because I put it next to my bed, I would pick it up and just put it really fucking close to my eyes and try to make out the pictures, because it kind of fucking it weirded me out that it was never on a like black screen. Also, the Kindle that I have, the Oasis, is very like intuitive to read. It's kind of like it's shaped as a book, so you're meant to hold it like this. But I saw a lot of reviews on it, and honestly, I'd rather read like this, holding it like this, than like this. It just feels more natural for me to hold it like an iPad or a really big phone. So I was always kind of no one really showed it on their review, whether you can read like this. Most people just read like this, but there is a setting for you to read like this. So it really does, it has a lot of ways for you to customize your experience. So if you like to read like this, but large fonts and very thin lines, you can do that. The customization is really good. One more thing, this Kindle is the heaviest out of them all, so don't worry too much about the weight, because it honestly kind of worried me, like, oh, it's like 200 grams or some shit, or I don't remember the weight, it doesn't really matter, but when I got it, it was like, man, this shit is light as fuck. I don't know if I have big muscles or I'm just naturally strong, or if it's not that heavy. Everyone says it's the heaviest out of them all. It's really not that heavy. You can hold it with one hand, you can just do it like this, nothing happens. You can hold it with one hand, you don't need two hands and holding it really firmly with your fucking muscles tighten up. It's not that heavy. And the one last thing that I really don't like about the Oasis version, because it's made out of aluminum. If you have nasty ass hands that are always sweaty, this shit is a fucking magnet for sweat, man. If you touch it a little bit with your sweaty hands, dude, the whole thing looks like it's fucking lubricated with fucking spit and sweat. It can get quite disgusting. So if you naturally have sweaty hands, I would recommend either washing your hands before using it, so you don't fucking get your sweat on the fucking screen. But that's basically it. It's okay. Now, let me tell you, what do you mainly do with the Kindle? You read. So what the fuck are you gonna read? You can read anything really. You can read hentai, you can read books, you can read articles, you can read a lot of stuff in this. But if you are just gonna use it like every person does, you just read books from it. You're not really gonna download articles and send them here. What you're mainly gonna be doing is buying books here. So there's one main place where you get the books from, and that's Amazon. Amazon happens to sell the books in a very expensive way. Like, the ebooks are meant to be the cheapest version of the book, yet they can be very expensive themselves in comparison to other platforms that sell them for much cheaper, such as Google. Amazon can sell you the works of Dostoevsky. Each of his works can be $3, which is not that much, but Google bundles them up. If you find the right version, I recommend Delphi something. They happen to do bundles of works. So Dostoevsky, I happen to have his book here. It's all of his works, and I got them for $2. I got all of his fucking books, all of his letters, all of everything, dude, for $2 or $3 or some shit. But in comparison to Amazon, I got a pretty good fucking deal. Look, I have here Delphi, the completed works of Leo Tolstoy. I bought this for $3, and I have all of his fucking works, unfinished novels, everything, dude. So I would really recommend looking into Google Play Books. They're really good. Another personal favorite website of mine is Project Gutenberg. They have a huge library of free books that you can download for free. You don't have to pay anything. I don't think it's I don't think it has viruses or anything of that sort. So it's actually a pretty good place, because it has like 67,000 books that you can download for free, ranging from classics to newer books. But you do have to look for, sometimes you might not find the book you're looking for if it's quite new. They kind of specialize in older books, so think of Dostoevsky, Shakespeare, Dickens, Leo Tolstoy, fucking authors that are dead. If they're dead, they probably have the book. So I don't think they have Stephen King or the new books or self-help books. It's more like older books, but you can get them for free. If you're into classics, totally fucking look into it. They get it for free. I'm gonna make a video on this. I'm gonna teach you how to download everything, how to get everything for free, and really how to do it. But first, look up Project Gutenberg. If they don't have your book, go into Google. If they have your book, alright, check the price, and then check it on Amazon and compare. If Amazon has if it has the same price, and just buy it on Amazon, because you can send it immediately into your Kindle, and it's much more convenient than having to download it and in here. So in conclusion, is it worth it? Yes, very much indeed. It's very fucking worth it. You should definitely get one if you don't have one already. If you really like books, get one. The ROI on these motherfuckers is insane. It's a fucking crime that you don't own one. If you don't read books, I would recommend you getting the cheaper one, the cheapest version. Don't get them from Amazon, get them from eBay. They sell them for much cheaper. Get the earlier generations. It costs quite a lot if you get newer ones, but in the long run you end up paying much less. You actually read a lot more because you're not distracted with all fucking YouTube and Instagram and all that shit. You actually enjoy reading after a while. If you don't really like reading, you can get into it with these. You can get it very enjoyable, and it's very much worth it. Amazon should be the last place you buy from after you exhaust all your other options. So I definitely get one, man. It's very good, and yes, it gets a Wort from me.